Ladies and gentlemen, today I am telling to you how to Chang yourself. Most people today wake up and immediately hand over their attention to the world. Before their feet even touch the floor, they've already opened their phone, checked what others are doing, and filled their mind with noise that isn't theirs. That's how the day begins for millions, and that's exactly how they lose themselves. They mistake being busy for being productive. But there's a difference between motion and progress. You can run in circles all day and still be standing in the same place by nightfall. If you truly want to spend time making yourself better, the first step is to stop chasing distractions and start building discipline. Discipline doesn't come from motivation, it comes from clarity. You must know what matters to you more than what pleases you. The mind always seeks comfort, and distractions offer that comfort, but growth lives on the other side of discomfort. It's in that moment when you choose to read instead of scroll, to practice instead of procrastinate, to think I instead of react. Those small choices repeated daily create the foundation for transformation. The problem is that distractions have become the new addiction of this generation. We fear silence because silence forces us to meet ourselves. The moment the world goes quiet, our insecurities begin to speak. We start to realize how far we are from who we could be. That's why people avoid silence. It's not peace they're scared of, it's truth. But truth is exactly what leads to self-betterment. Until you face your own chaos, you can't organize your life. When you withdraw from distractions, you're not missing out. You're finally tuning in. You begin to hear your own thoughts clearly, and that clarity is what separates dreamers from doers. Every disciplined person has learned to protect their focus as if it were gold, because it is. Focus is the new wealth. The richer your attention, the higher your value. The poorer your discipline, the cheaper your time becomes. And discipline isn't just about waking up early or sticking to a schedule. It's about commitment to direction. It's reminding yourself every single day, why am I doing this? When your why is strong enough, your distractions lose their power. You begin to see through the illusions that trap others. The need for approval, the chase for instant gratification, the illusion that everyone else is moving faster than you. They aren't. They're just moving noisier. If you spend even one focused hour a day purely on your growth, learning, improving, reflecting, that's 365 hours a year. That's 9 full 40-hour work weeks of self-development. Imagine what you could become with that kind of time invested into your own evolution instead of lost in digital noise. The world doesn't reward the distracted, it rewards the disciplined. So, spend your time like a sculptor uses a chisel. Carefully, intentionally, removing what doesn't belong. Because what's left after you cut away the distractions is who you were always meant to be. ND, that version of you, the focused, disciplined, self-aware you, is the one capable of building something extraordinary. We live in a time where appearance has become more valuable than ability. People spend hours trying to look successful instead of actually becoming successful. They want to appear intelligent, disciplined, confident, yet few are willing to do the work that produces those qualities from within. The tragedy of this generation is that many want the reputation of growth without enduring the process of growth. But no filter, no status, no performance can replace what genuine learning can give you. If you truly want to make yourself better, you have to stop investing your time in how things appear and start investing it in how things actually are. Learning is not about collecting degrees or certificates. It's about expanding the way you think. The person who learns continuously has a kind of quiet confidence that no one can fake. You can tell when someone has depth, not bika. Use of how they speak, but because of how they see the world. And that perspective only comes from time spent learning. Too many people are addicted to looking wise instead of being wise. They post quotes, they talk about success, they dress the part, but beneath the surface, there is no substance. And the world eventually reveals the truth. When challenges come, appearances collapse. Only knowledge stands. The more you learn, the more tools you have to face uncertainty, to solve problems, to adapt when life changes. That's why learning is the greatest investment of time you can make. Everything else fades, money, status, attention, but wisdom multiplies with use. A. Brew. The problem is, learning feels slow. It's not glamorous. You don't see instant results. You read a book and feel like nothing has changed. But something has. Deep down, your perspective shifts. Your thinking sharpens. Your confidence grows silently. And then one day, when life tests you, you realize how much stronger you be. Come. That's the invisible reward of constant learning. It builds invisible muscles that only show up when life gets heavy. And you don't need to read hundreds of books or attend endless seminars. Real learning happens when you engage with life, when you observe, when you reflect. Every experience, even failure, is a lesson if you treat it that way. The question is not, Tyson, what happened to me, but what can I learn from it? Because every moment carries information, and those who extract it evolve faster than those who complain about it. There's a simple truth most people ignore. The more you learn, the less you depend on luck. Knowledge creates opportunity. Understanding builds confidence. Skills attract value when you stop pretending to know and start genuinely learning. The world starts to notice, not because you told it to, but because results speak louder than appearance. So spend your time building the kind of intelligence that doesn't need to be announced. Be the person whose AC. Chians reveal wisdom, not the one whose words perform it. We all want a better life, more success, more freedom, more comfort, but few people realize that the real foundation of all those things isn't money, status, or talent. It's character. The kind of person you become determines the kind of life you can build, and that's why you must spend more time developing character than chasing comfort. Comfort feels good now, but character feels right forever. Every time you choose the easy path, you weaken your potential. Every time you choose the harder but right path, you strengthen it. Life constantly tests your principles. How you treat people when no one is watching. How you react when things don't go your way. How you behave when you have power. These small, invisible decisions shape your destiny. Success built without integrity is a house made of sand. It looks strong until the first storm hits. But when you build your foundation on character, on discipline, honesty, humility, and resilience. CE creates something that no failure can destroy. Building character takes time because it's not about learning something new. It's about unlearning everything false. Society trains us to chase validation, to win at any cost, to look powerful instead of being strong. But real power is internal. It's the ability to control your emotions, to keep your word, to stay calm under pressure, and to remain kind when you have every reason not to be. That's character. And character doesn't come from comfort, it comes from challenge. When life gets difficult, that's when your character is being sculpted. Pain teaches you patience. Failure teaches you humility. Rejection teaches you resilience. Every uncomfortable experience is a test of who you are becoming. If you only seek ease, you rob yourself of growth. The strongest people you admire didn't become that way because life was kind to them. They became that way because they refused to be broken by what tried to stop them. Oh, many people confuse reputation with character. Reputation is what others think of you. Character is what you know about yourself. Reputation can be bought, built, or destroyed overnight. But character can't be taken from you. It's earned one honest choice at a time. The world might misunderstand you, criticize you, or even ignore you, but if you stay grounded in strong values, you'll always have peace within. And that peace is far more valuable than public approval. So instead of asking, what can I get from life? Start asking, what kind of person am I becoming through this? Because when you build your inner strength first, success naturally follows. The world is full of people who have everything but peace. Don't be one of them. Choose to build something within you that no one can take away. There comes a point in everyone's journey where the path narrows and the crowd disappears. You start to feel alone. Not because the world has abandoned you, but because you've outgrown the noise that once grew. This is the moment when you begin to realize that growth often demands isolation. Yet most people run from that feeling. They fear being alone because they mistake loneliness for emptiness. But in truth, solitude is not a void. It's a mirror. It reflects who you are without the distractions, without the opinions, without the applause. And when you face that reflection with honesty, that's where real transformation begins. The truth is, improvement separates you. The more serious you become about your growth, the fewer people will understand you. You stop fitting into conversations that once entertained you. You lose interest in things that once excited you. Your priorities shift, and suddenly what used to feel normal now feels meaningless. This can be painful because humans are wired to belong. But personal evolution always requires a phase of separation. You must leave the comfort of the familiar to discover the strength of the individual. Solitude gives you space to thin, to evaluate, to build clarity about who you are and where you're going. Most people never find that clarity because they're always surrounded by noise, friends, opinions, comparisons, constant validation. They never learn how to be at peace in their own company. But once you do, solitude becomes your teacher. You begin to notice your patterns, your weaknesses, your potential. You start to see what needs to change, not from a place of self-criticism, but from awareness. Growth doesn't require a crowd. It requires courage, the courage to face your own silence. When you turn loneliness into strength, something powerful happens. You become emotionally independent. You no longer need people to agree with you, to validate you, or to believe in you before you move. You develop an inner anchor that keeps you steady even when life gets unstable. You stop chasing belonging and start attracting alignment, people and opportunities that match your direction rather than distract from it. That's the beauty of solitude. It filters your world and refines your purpose. And it's not easy. There will be days when solitude feels heavy, when you question your path, when you wonder if it's all worth it. But remember, every seed grows in darkness before it breaks the soil. Every strong tree spends time hidden before it stands tall. You are no different. The silence you endure today is preparing you for the voice of tomorrow. So don't fear being alone. Use that time to rebuild yourself, to rediscover your strength, to realign your direction. Because once you find peace in solitude, the world loses its power to shake you. Solitude is not your weakness. It's your workshop. And what you build there will shape everything you become. One of the biggest mistakes people make on their journey of self-improvement is expecting the world to notice their progress. They want applause for every effort, validation for every step, and recognition for every sacrifice. But real growth doesn't announce it. It happens quietly in moments no one sees. The truth is, when you decide to better yourself, there will be a long period where it feels like no one cares, no one sees, and nothing is changing. That's not failure, that's incubation. Every great transformation begins in silence before it becomes visible. Every day, you're building something, even if you don't realize it. Through your choices, your habits, your thoughts, and your attitude, you reshaping the person you will become 5, 10, 20 years from now. The future version of you is being constructed quietly in the background of today's actions. And the question you must ask yourself is simple. Would my future self thank me for the way I'm living right now? Most people spend their time reacting to life instead of designing it. They drift from day to day, waiting for something external, a better job, more money, a lucky break to change their situation. But the truth is, the future doesn't suddenly appear. It unfolds from what you're doing today. You are the architect of your destiny, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every minute spent wisely adds a brick to your foundation. Every minute wasted weakens it. That's why spending time to make yourself better isn't selfish, it's strategic. You're preparing your future self for a life that's worthy of the effort you've already invested. Becoming the person your future needs requires foresight. You have to think beyond the moment. It means asking, what kind of mindset will I need 5 years from now? What kind of habits will sustain me when life gets tough? What kind of person must I become to handle the dreams I'm chasing? Most people want success without preparing for the weight of it. They dream of great opportunities, but they never develop the strength, patience, and discipline required to hold them. Without that foundation, success can destroy as quickly as it can elevate. This is why personal growth must always precede external achievement. You can't be you. Build an empire with the mindset of a beginner. You must evolve into the kind of person who can sustain greatness, not just taste it. That evolution doesn't happen overnight. It happens through daily commitment, through consistency, through the courage to keep improving, even when no one is watching and even when results seem far away. Think of it this way. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every challenge you overcome, it's all training. You're strengthening your character, sharpening your mind, and preparing your spirit for the future battles that success will bring. Because success is not peace, success is pressure. And only those who have built themselves deeply can handle it without losing themselves in the process. When you decide to spend time becoming better, not just richer or more recognized, but wiser, calmer, more capable, you invest in a form of wealth that can't be stolen or lost. You build a future that's not dependent on luck, but on preparation and preparatio. Always meets opportunity. So stop waiting for the right moment to start improving yourself. The right moment is now. The future you're hoping for is already waiting, but it can only meet the person you are becoming, not the one you used to be. The problem is, we live in an age where visibility has become the new measure of worth. People want to be seen improving more than they want to actually improve. They post their goals online, share their routines, and measure progress by likes instead of impact. But self-betterment isn't a performance, it's a process. The seed doesn't shout while it's growing, it just breaks through when it's ready. And if you spend your time waiting for others to validate your growth, you'll stop watering the very thing that could make you great. Progress must be measured by your internal growth, not by external approval. Ask yourself, are you more patient than you were last year? Are you thinking more clearly, handling setbacks more calmly, becoming more consistent with your values? Those are the real metrics of progress. External results will come, but they're always delayed reflections of the internal work. People often quit not because they aren't growing, but because they can't see proof fast enough. They confuse the absence of recognition with the absence of progress. But the two are not the same. There's a kind of power in being underestimated. When no one is watching, you're free to build without pressure, to fail without judgment, and to learn without ego. Those invisible seasons are where your strength takes shape. And when your results finally surface, they don't need explanation. They speak for themselves. That's why the most successful people are often the ones who worked the longest in silence. They didn't need the world to clap. They needed themselves to stay consistent. Measuring progress by approval is like asking a mirror to define your worth. It can only reflect what's visible, not what's valuable, and what's valuable of. 10 takes time to emerge. The tree doesn't measure its growth by how many people sit under its shade. It grows because that's its nature. In the same way, your growth should come from purpose, not praise. So keep building even when no one notices. Keep learning even when it feels slow. Keep improving even when the world doubts you. Because the day will come when your work will speak so loudly that silence will turn into applause, not because you asked for it, but because you earned it.